Well, I always wanted to have a viewer just like you. I always wanted to be in a YouTube stream with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Let's hope OBS bandwidth doesn't begin to decay. Won't you be mine? Won't you be mine? Won't you be my viewer? Hey viewer, how's your day going today? Well, we are back with Egotastic FunTime live stream happening right now. There's so much to talk about. We gotta talk about The Last of Us. We gotta talk about the Orville. We gotta talk about what I've been watching all week. We gotta talk about what you've been watching all week. And we gotta talk about a very important situation, personal YouTube situation. I gotta figure out this YouTube game. I'm rebranding myself. I'm coming up with an entirely new way of being. Some of it what you guys want me to be, some of it what I want me to be, and some stuff that I don't want to do at all. I don't want to do it at all. That's why that sounded weird, because it means I gotta be a little bit more confrontational. You know me, you guys. I'm always trying to be diplomatic, the way Captain Picard taught me at such a young age to be. But we'll talk about that as well, you guys. What is going on? Heavy Cap, Brian Dawkins, Margot, Big Funny, Giant Archmage Frey, and all the rest of you that are piling in right now. Welcome to Egotastic FunTime, the new Egotastic FunTime. What have you guys been up to this week? What brings you here? Are we going to take back our fandom? And by our fandom, I mean all the fandoms out there that we like. Oh, I'm getting an error message. Hold on one second. I do not like these error messages from YouTube. I get them all the time. Please use a keyframe frequency of 4 seconds or less. Currently, keyframes are not being sent often enough, which can, I don't know, it gets cut off. I don't know what that means, you guys. If one of you guys can help me with that, very much appreciated. But otherwise, there's probably nothing I can do about it right now without ending the stream, which I do not want to do. So if anything happens, if I begin to stutter, if the sound goes out just in big, huge, giant caps in the comment section, go ahead and let me know, and hopefully I'll see it, because I'm usually got one eye looking somewhat at the chat room here. Stephen Holland said, I've missed this name. I made a ringtone out of the old theme song and use it for my former wife. My theme song used to be your former wife? What? That's crazy. I'm honored. Thanks a lot, Stephen. And the song is available on the Egotastic FunTime homepage, I believe, the main screen with all the ego-ness going on. Movie Mouse says internet speed. Okay, that makes sense. All this week, I was having problems on the desktop with Hulu. All the other streaming services worked on my desktop, but Hulu would not work no matter what. I tried every browser. I downloaded the desktop app. None of it would work. It would not play videos at all. So finally, I just went through my computer. I deleted any app that I didn't recognize. I cleared caches on everything, all that stuff, and finally Hulu started working again. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe my computer's all jam-packed, but it's got plenty of memory on it. So I don't know what's up with that. But thank you. I'll have to look into that, Movie Mouse. Brian Dawkins says, you look very good on my 65-inch TV. That almost sounded dirty. But now I read the whole sentence, and now I think it's awesome. I'm happy to be on your television. 65-inch TV. Man, I would love to have that. Though a lot of stuff that I watch, I do right here at the Ego Pewter, because I usually, when I watch stuff, I got to do some work with it. I got to record little clips and sometimes the full episodes and this and that. Mr. Tommy Pickles, thank you so much for signing up to support the channel just a little bit ago. Looking great on my 6.5-inch screen too. That's a little bit more like it, and that definitely sounds dirty. Heavy cap quality is good, no pops or stutters. Good, because I would like to use take clips out of these live streams, which I want to do a lot more of. with you guys. And you know, turn them into little videos. I do that sometimes, but if I don't like the quality, I don't do it. But I'm trying to up the quality here. Steven says keyframes in film editing refer to points in animation. I know, I am animated. A lot of people will tell you, like a starting point and the next point where an object might change direction or disappear. Abracazam! I'm gone. Did it work? Am I doing it? On YouTube, I have no idea. I'll have to look into it, you guys. It's all a growing process. Try to get a little bit better every single time. I am so excited for tonight. Tonight is an all-new episode, episode 3 of The Last of Us. Absolutely loved the last week's episode. The very beginning of the episode gave us a little bit of a flashback to before the outbreak. Kind of showed us where the outbreak started. Started in Indonesia, and the cordyceps, the fungus, was kind of gestating, growing, and getting stronger in a flour and grain factory, which is the perfect substrate for that type of organism, says the special little scientist at the beginning of the episode. And then, of course, we know all hell breaks loose. 20 years later, the world's all messed up, and a great adventure ensues, you guys. But one thing that little tiny bit, that little information we got from that episode makes you have to go back to the first episode and realize how close Ellie and Joel were to being infected. You know, the flour and the grain from that factory, of course, goes out all over the world, gets shipped all over the world, so people can make, you know, their cakes and their carb-based entrees and little desserts and cookies, stuff like that. In the very first episode of The Last of Us, you'll see the neighbors were eating biscuits, obviously made with flour, because the old lady with an autoimmune disease that basically was catatonic was the first one to get infected, at least in that part of Austin. Joel and Ellie both declined the biscuits. Ellie wanted to make Joel a big pancake breakfast for his birthday, but they were out of pancake mix, so they just ended up having wakey eggs and bakey instead. Also, Joel forgot to pick up a cake. Do you remember that from the first episode? They also missed out on eating any of that flour from that. Ellie declined having any of the cookies that the neighbor was making because they were raisin cookies. She's not excited about raisin cookies. So it was a pretty great little extra information they gave us in the second episode to really see how close Ellie and Joel came to possibly being infected, and why people were being infected around the world so quickly. You know, they make the flour and the grain in a factory, and it gets sent all over the place, and it's got a shelf life. They got to eat it right away. Thanks, Clyden. Thank you, Scott Clark, very much. Glad you are still trying new things. Always trying new things. For instance, I started covering The Last of Us, right? That was my big plan. Well, it was my plan as soon as I watched the episode and realized, oh, this is something I like, something that I'm passionate about. So I tried it out. I did, a quick first impression. Earlier this week, I did a really great review of The Last of Us, episode 2. I mean, I spent 8 hours writing and editing and getting this thing up, right? Actually longer than that, because I had to rewatch the episode and go through it and do some research. Editing nonstop, tons of editing, but I got it done because I'm pretty quick at editing after all this time, after all these years on the YouTubes. And it was a great episode. Anyone who watched it thought it was really great, but very few people watched it. But why? Because The Last of Us is good. It's really damn good. We don't get stuff very often that's really damn good. So much so, every YouTuber out there is covering The Last of Us. And some of them are doing some really great work with Last of Us content. They got, they get the episodes early for whatever reason. There are big channels. They got teams of people working on it. I'm just one dude. I'll always be just one dude. And because that's the way I like it. So it's oversaturated. Does that mean I'm not going to cover The Last of Us? No. We're going to talk about it during the live shows. I'm going to do a right off the bat review after every episode. You got what, 7 more episodes left? But putting out all kinds of content on it, I'm not going to do. I come up with these ideas, I try them out. If they don't work, or at least show some sign of being able to work, then I dump all the big plans and I try to come up with a better way of doing things. So right now, what I'm thinking of is reviewing the stuff that I watch. If I go hardcore on content, it's because it's something I'm passionate about, and, you know, like I did with the Orville. But of course, we're going to be always talking about The Last of Us while it's on. Always talking about the Orville. I got another Orville video that I want to put out this week. Either make the video, or maybe we'll talk about it enough here during this live show that I'll clip it out and put it up for everyone else to watch. I'm always trying new things, trying to make things do better, and also trying to deal with the fact that I hate YouTubing. I don't hate YouTubing. I love the format. I like the company. I always understand all the changes they make because I search them up and I don't get all, oh, good, YouTube's trying to destroy me. No, they're not. But you see a lot of people, anytime they make a change, we're like, oh, they're trying to destroy me. No, they're just trying to get clicks. I understand the format, but I see all the similarities between all the different YouTube channels, and I'm just not that kind of guy that follows trends. I've never been that way. When I was younger, you know, if I'm wearing a certain type of outfit that I like, that makes me feel good, and then I see a bunch of other people start to dress that way, I'm off the trend, man. I go to something else. I've never liked copying things, right? So that's part of my own personal struggle with doing the YouTube stuff, because sometimes it feels like you have to copy the same stuff everyone else is doing just to get noticed, just to get people to click, right? I have a hard time with that. I've always had a hard time with that. But also, knowing human nature when it comes to viewers, I know you have to have something for people to latch on to, right? You have to have a cause almost. So I'm trying to figure that out. The only cause that I'm passionate about, but I hate talking about, is all the negativity on the internet and in fandom, which is why I want to talk about taking back fandom, which is something I talk about a little bit here and there. There's so much negativity going on. People are just trying to get noticed any way possible, and I'm not saying that everyone's trying to do it in a bad way, even though the way they behave is a bad way, but that's human nature. A lot of people don't know how to be different. Part of being a human is to find something to stand against, whether it's an important thing or just the stupidest, dumbest thing ever. To find somebody to blame, that's part of human nature. To scapegoat is part of human nature. And, you know, a lot of people in this day and age, especially older people my age, which is where a lot of the negativity starts from, and then makes its way down, is, you know, people get older and they don't keep up with the world. They don't keep up with society. At some point they decide, boom, I am not progressing any more than where I'm at right now. And the world passes them by and they become obsolete. And then they become angry and they start hating everything. And there's a lot of that going on. I noticed that years ago, even starting within myself, and I stepped outside of myself and I looked back in to see what was going on, and I realized I don't like that. So I allow myself to be part of the world, and hopefully if I do things right, I'll be part of the world my entire life, and I won't just stagnate and live in 1996 for the rest of my life. But that's just one cause. Some of it is, notice the things people complain about when it comes to passive entertainment. It's usually all the same stuff that was around when they were kids that they're still making today. So they'll watch something that's made today that's from a franchise that they enjoyed when they were just a kid with hardly a brain cell in their head, and you know, you can't even remember back that far correctly. What was ever happening, what was really happening when you were enjoying something isn't exactly the same of what was really happening when you remember back, right? When you flash back to these moments. So some of it is a lot of these franchises, Star Trek, Star Wars, Transformers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all that stuff. They're still making the same stuff today, brand new, that they had out when I was a little kid. That is weird. That is weird. Kids today, my stepson should not know what Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are. He missed out on that. He should have something that's not only awesome, because, you know, there's new stuff now. It's not that great. I don't really care about a lot of the weird crap. They have a whole show about Batmobiles, where all the main characters are vehicles of Batman. That's weird. That's not cool and awesome. But I think kids today should have their own awesome, unique thing that is original to their era, to their time now, but it's still awesome. Don't make it suck, though. You know, if I go back in time and watch an episode of Ninja Turtles, it might have sucked. I don't know. I enjoyed it at the time. John Burns, thank you so much. So about Dark Matter. Oh, that Dark Matter, LOL. The Last of Us has a template. There's, when it comes to The Last of Us, so they've already announced The Last of Us has been renewed for a second season. Guarantee you there's going to be a lot more seasons to come down the road. I think, I'm guessing we're going to get 6 or 7 seasons out of this franchise, which is great because it's technically a new franchise. There was no Last of Us when I was a little kid. It originally came out in 2013. People are still finding out about it, which is strange because it's one of the best damn zombie apocalypse stories ever told. But they're saying that the second game, The Last of Us Part 2, will be included in the second season, probably second and third season, because it's a huge story. But also, it's also been announced that The Last of Us Part 3 is currently being made, the video game. So I'm guessing season 4 of The Last of Us will include whatever the story is for part 3 of the game franchise. And that will probably go on for a couple seasons as well, because it's huge. PJ, what's up? Orville Nation, you guys. Good to catch you live, JP. I'm trying to do multiple live shows a week, you guys. John Burns, Your Honor. HBO Bryan Cranston plays a judge. Cool. Does he play a judge? I see there's some new Bryan Cranston show out. I haven't checked it out. Usually when people are making a weird face on a thumbnail, like, oh, so aggravating, I'm like, oh, that looks like a lot of drama. I don't know if I want to watch that. I don't know if I'm in the mood, but maybe it's great. Bryan Cranston is a funny dude. He can do serious and funny. I love it when it's mixed together. Brian Dawkins, thank you so much for your super chat. Can we get a 5 or 6 Orville fans out in Los Angeles that could go out and picket in front of the Disney headquarters for an hour or so we can get it on social media? Maybe. I'm sure you could. I wish I was closer. I don't know if I'd pick it, but I'd probably go and knock on the door and ask to talk to Bob, what's it, Iger or Iger? I can't remember. And there's, you know, we all know there's a delay with getting the Orville renewal announcement. Now, here's some stuff I've been thinking about when it comes to the Orville and the Orville renewal. I'm considering the Orville to be renewed, to have been renewed. I think it's renewed until it is not renewed. So a lot of people are like, oh, it hasn't been renewed, it hasn't been canceled. Think about that. It hasn't been canceled, which means it's not canceled. That means there's going to be more Orville someday until they say there isn't. So I'm going with the half full that it has been renewed until they say otherwise. But also, you know, it's a big delay. And I've heard rumors, just rumors, that Disney is looking for that special franchise so that they can have a strong foothold on the one type of sci-fi no one is really doing. Positive, utopian sci-fi, classic sci-fi. People are like, oh, but there's new Star Trek. Paramount's got the new Star Trek. Lots of great new Star Trek, you guys. Some appeals to me, some does not appeal to me. Apparently, the new Picard series is going to be great, but of course, I'm predicting right now that all the hate oil salesmen are wanting to keep their scareholders happy and their pawns drooling, and they're going to say, oh, the new Picard series is too little too late. I know they're already planning because you got to make money. You got to keep those scareholders happy, you guys. So we'll see if that pans out. I think it absolutely will pan out that way. Those types of channels, they don't have anything nice to say unless it's to put down something else. They can't just have a full review of something they like. It has to be, oh, I really like this. Why didn't they do that on this show or on this series? It always turns out that way because you got to keep the hate going, you guys, and that's bad for fandoms. That's anti-fandoms, and I don't accept it, nor do I respect it. But what was I saying? The Orville. I hear rumors that Disney is looking to have that special thing, a special IP that no one else is doing in the sci-fi realm. New Star Trek isn't exactly like the old Star Trek. It's a little bit more inflamed, a little bit more drama going on. I enjoy a lot of it, but it doesn't keep me going, oh man, I can't wait till the next episode. I'm not feeling that. That type of Star Trek is what I call classico nuevo. But the real classic stuff like the Orville, where everyone's happy, they got some situations that happen, some things that are kind of like, we need to think about this. But overall, it's a very utopian universe. Disney's trying to lock that. The Orville is the closest thing they're going to find. It's got a huge audience. It's got great episodes, great writers, great cast, great showrunner, all the stuff that you would want, but it's very expensive, and streaming isn't doing. Streaming is getting very competitive, and it has to be worth the subscription numbers. But I don't think they're just trying to think. I don't think they're trying just to work out, oh, we got to get the Orville another season. No, I think they're trying to figure out how to get it to be a whole new legacy for Disney, which means multiple seasons, spin-offs, all this stuff. I think they're working out a lot of complicated stuff. Fingers crossed. I'm hoping so that they can have a big future with the Orville IP. We'll have to wait and see, but I think this is a lot more about a whole franchise as opposed to just another season. And then what do you do after that other season? You got to keep building. These are long-term things. You got to build that audience. So hopefully, I know the cast and crew are expecting a renewal to be announced sooner than later. They seem to speak that way. They want it. Whether it comes or not, I don't know. I feel that it is, but I think it's going to be bigger than just a fourth season. And come on, we as fans deserve to hear about more than just a fourth season, right? We need to hear about season 5, 6, 7, and beyond, expanding the franchise. Fingers crossed, all of you. Let me know what you think when it comes to that. Mr. Tommy Pickles, I really enjoyed the positivity in Strange New Worlds. Refreshing. I very much enjoyed Strange New Worlds. It still felt like just a TV show to me, but it was very enjoyable. I liked the adventures. I liked the tone quite a bit. John Burns, Disney, Mickey, Captain's Log. Who's Spock? McCoy? What? Damn it, Spock! I'm a mouse, not a doctor. Oh wait, hold on. He's a mouse and a doctor. Yeah, Strange New Worlds was a lot of fun. I'm always rooting for all Star Trek. Always rooting for all Star Trek. I'm rooting for Discovery. Discovery, I would think, is probably wrapping up pretty soon. I would think. I don't keep track of if they're getting more seasons or what. I'm always rooting for Discovery. Doesn't appeal to me as much as the other new Star Trek does. But it appeals to a lot of people. Star Trek, one thing about Star Trek that longtime fans forget, because they just weren't old enough to understand these things. Star Trek has always been a reflection of society at that time that it came out. This definitely, the original series was a reflection of the Cold War, with the sensibilities of goofy 60s TV. Voyager, Deep Space Nine. Enterprise was a huge reflection of the world after 9/11. That's what Star Trek's always been. At the time when I was watching that stuff when I was younger, I didn't get that. But as you get older, you get more worldly, hopefully. If you want to do yourself a favor, get more worldly. You start looking at the world, you start understanding the world a little bit better. And unless you don't, which is sad. And you start to realize these things. So now when I look back at Star Trek, I can see things in the scripts and the stories and the characters that were a direct reflection of what was going on in the world at the time. So I'm always rooting for stuff. Now, I'll tell you a little story about how I started with YouTube. Thank you, John Burns. YouTuber confirms support for season 4 of Dark Matter. Do they still make Dark Matter? Did it get... I don't know. I don't know much about Dark Matter, except for some of you really want me to watch it. And we'll get to what I've been watching lately, because I've been rekindling my love for film and for television and, you know, Hollywood, you guys. But a little story. I started YouTube 7 years ago, maybe a little more. And I started with a channel called Popstalgia. You know, like pop culture and nostalgia. And I was making stuff. I had no idea what I was doing. I still don't know what I'm doing. And then eventually I got tired of the name and I wanted to rebrand. So I came up with Egotastic FunTime. Still had no idea what it was. I just made a video about anything I can make. Just try to make it funny. Try to make it a little bit informative sometimes. Sometimes just try to make it weird. Which I miss. I like weird stuff. And then nobody cared. I think I ended up with about 1,200 subscribers at the time. And then the Orville came out. I watched it. I liked it. I talked about it. People wanted to watch that video. I made another Orville video. People, even double the amount of people watched that one. And so I started covering the Orville. And we created this great community that we have. The Orville changed my life, so then I started dedicating all my efforts towards the Orville as a thank you and as a love for the fandom and as a love for the universe and the show that Seth MacFarlane created. But also I was still trying to cover other things, so I started watching Discovery, which did not appeal to me, especially in that first season. What they did with the Klingons was just not the right thing to do for me as a fan. But of course they had the right to do it. They've already switched back to regular Klingons. But I did not enjoy that, so I was covering it. And I like to make jokes, so I was making tons of jokes about the new Klingons. And people really started latching on to that. And so I kept doing, Discovery reviews and kind of like putting it down a little bit, the stuff I didn't like. And always going after those Klingons as much as I could. And then I started realizing, this is something I did not realize at the time, because I just wasn't part of it, that there was a whole movement of a bunch of people that just hate stuff. And they hate the new Star Trek, claiming to love Star Trek. Even though they apparently learned nothing from what they watched as a kid from Star Trek. And so what I was trying to do was just make funny jokes, because I love doing that. Nothing is beyond being made fun of most of the time. And I realized people weren't getting the jokes. They were just getting hate out of it. And so then I started checking all these other channels. People were lumping my channel into the Fandom Menace, which is a menace to fandom, apparently. And just started, all the haters just started coming in and going, yeah, exactly what you said. And then they would say something horrible about somebody that works on the show or something like that. And I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right. So I instantly realized what was going on. I was aware that there was a movement of haters and love to hate no matter what. And I said, no, I'm going to change things. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to, luckily I had the Orville to fall back on. Because when it comes to fandom, my thing is supporting and uplifting the things that we like, and not looking for things that we don't like. Because I'll tell you one thing right now, and this is something I know from my background working in Hollywood, and knowing people that are in the business and having friends in the business. Anything that has ever been made, television show, movie, whether it sucks or whether it's really good, no matter what, it is impossible to make. Nothing we watch should ever be completed because it's impossible. You get all these people together from different backgrounds, different beliefs, to work together to make a thing. It shouldn't be possible. It's really hard to make these things. So I was like, I'm not going to put down hard work, whether I like it or not. Also, as someone who aspires to be part of Hollywood and content creators and making things, you don't put down other people. That's just not the right thing to do. So because I didn't do that, I was lucky enough to become friends with the people that make and create the Orville. They treated me like an equal, which they shouldn't, because I'm not. They're friends. They comment on things that I post that have nothing to do with the Orville or TV or sci-fi. They stop by they slip in my DMs and say hello every once in a while. That's what happens when you're nice to people, but it can't always be nice, I guess. Viewers don't want that, so I'm gonna have to start calling out BS when I see it, but also covering the things that I want to cover. Talk about the things that I want to talk about, and have these live shows so that you guys can talk about things you want to talk about. John Burns, thank you again. Rekindling love is good. Do that. The podcast, what's up, my brothers? Basically, one of the very few content creators out there that I truly care about, because I don't care about anybody, you guys. I'm a lone wolf. I don't care about me that much, but I care about my wife, and I care about my stepkids, and I care about the podcast. That's about it. And I care about you guys, because you guys are the best. Hey, brother, love you, man. Hope we can stream together soon. You know what? That would be really great, you guys. I would love to chat with you guys. Let's chat about, because I'm not going to cover Star Trek ever, really, as far as like hardcore cover like I do the Orville, because I'm just I'm disenchanted with the fandom. I think the Star Trek fandom, as much as I love Star Trek so much, I keep it private, because the fandom, they've allowed too many bad actors into the fandom to ruin it for everybody. When I see them, I'll call them out. But yeah, that'd be great, podcast. I'd love to talk about Picard, because I'll definitely be watching Picard. So we can talk about that. You know, I'll probably have lots of nice stuff to say about Picard. But I don't think people will have as much of a problem with that with Picard Season 3. It looks like everybody's loving it pretty damn hard. At least the genuous people are. Medallion says, it was wartime. Laughing my ass off. It was the hair. Just don't talk about hair when it comes to Voyager. I love Voyager so much, but they had some weird hair for those aliens in the Delta Quadrant. Planetary Federation of Unions. That's how I discovered this channel, under the name Dark Side of Light, until I changed my name to this. Planetary Federation of Unions. You went from darkness to lightness. Even though the darkness was of the light, now it's the light of the darkness instead of darkness of the light. No, I love it, Planetary. Love it. Unions. That'd be a good name for a band. I call it new band name. What's up, Maria? How you doing? The Sweet Podcast. Medallion, you sure, Disco? It was just the hair that was different? Oh no, it was a huge reflection of a type of audience that is valid and exists today. And you go outside your house and you talk to people. There's so many different people out there. Make sure you talk to them, unless they're talking to themselves or screaming on a street corner. But usually you only find that in LA, unfortunately. Lady Hawk's Lair. I hate people who hate stuff. I agree. Well, I hate people who hate unimportant stuff. Like, you know, you'll see people, they want to boycott this or that. I'm like, no, save that energy for injustices. Boycott Iran. You know, boycott places that are committing injustices against their people. Not a TV show. Though sometimes you got to send nuts into a studio so that they renew the show for another season. I'm talking to you, Jericho. John Burns, Brian or Shane, great to see you guys at the podcast. Now, the podcast I was talking to you guys the other day, it's Brian. Brian's here about shorts. Anyone who has a YouTube channel and you're serious about growing it, shorts. Not just shorts. Incorporate a mix of shorts. What I do is I've been posting shorts for a couple months now. And the last couple weeks, I've been doing 3-4 a day. But a lot of people don't know that because I go into before I upload a short, I go into you got to do a lot of office work when you're putting up a video. At least you should be doing a lot of office work when you put up a video if you're serious about it. And I unpublish. There's a box you can click on and off called Publish Video to Subscribers. I uncheck that so that when I post a short, none of my subscribers are alerted to it, which is the whole plan, because it don't matter. It's going on the short shelves. It's going to be served up to people that are looking at shorts. So it really you don't really need to bother your subscribers with it. People that see your short that you post, they watch your shorts. Now when they go to their home screen, your other videos are going to pop up in their home screen for them to click on if they want to click on it, and vice versa. Your regular videos that if someone watches one of your regular videos, your shorts will pop up on their home screen on the short shelf. And YouTube is pushing shorts super hardcore ever since the first of the month. So just like, and they're super easy to put up. I've gotten, thanks to shorts, I've gotten 1 million views just in the last 28 days. I've surpassed 10 million. I'm probably at 13 million at this point. And all thanks to shorts. So shorts will bring attention not only to your channel, it'll bring in subscribers, it'll bring in interaction, thumbs ups, comments, or thumbs down. It's all the same. Thumbs up and thumbs down is the exact same thing, FYI. It's all interaction, and it'll get you subscribers, and it'll bring views to your long form videos as well. So it's all a win-win. It will not hurt your channel anyway. It'll only help support your channel, and it'll let you branch out a little bit as well. Let's see. Let me scroll down. No money. Gee, thank you so much for that super chat. Been watching Orville on Hulu and Disney to tickle their algorithms. Like Strange New Worlds. Refreshing to see optimism and back to basics for the most part. Yeah, I think Star Trek is a very simple, formula. So, when you've got a very simple formula that people like and enjoy, I do find it weird when people try to change it up, especially when they're coming back after so many years of being gone. You might as well just keep the same formula, just update some of the content. I think they're getting back to that. It was all an experiment. The whole Star Trek thing. Paramount was wanting to move into streaming. They're like, how do we get into this? What do we have that has a fandom that we can try this out on? We got Star Trek. All right, let's do Star Trek. Took them a little while to figure out the right formula and the right stuff that people were more likely to watch. So it was a very interesting ride. Not every Star Trek has to be perfect. As long as they're trying. People are like, oh God, I love The Next Generation. I love The Next Generation. But I didn't truly love it like I do now until the 3rd season. People forget that. People forget their journey because they were younger. I don't remember everything the right way from 20, 30, 40 years ago. It's all part of life. JP should talk about what would DITS and Good Omens do? What would Donuts in the Sauce and Good Omens do? I don't know. I don't know what they would do. Come out with another season. What We Do in the Shadows. I get it now. Love What We Do in the Shadows. Very much what we'll be getting a season 4 hopefully in the fall. The whole new Trek thing. We need more Kelvin timeline. I'm totally fine with the Kelvin timeline. One thing that really softened the blow of such a different Star Trek with the Kelvin timeline was the fact that it was a whole different timeline. That really softened the blow. It really got me to the point where I can consider it, and it's not canon to me because it's not even the same Star Trek universe that I'm from. It's a whole side thing, which of course is something that we learned from the original Star Trek, is that there's different universes. What we do in the shadows, absolutely love. I love that quirky stuff. I love shows that are funny just to be funny, and they put out they write good scripts. Yes, JP, say hi to the better half. Oh, I will. My favorite thing is to say hi to my better half, and she is my better half. She's perfect. I tell her she'll do something funny, and I always tell her, "You're the right one," and that always makes her smile, makes her laugh, or roll her eyes, which that works for me too. It's a multiverse like Marvel. I was just thinking about Marvel. When I was younger, teenage years, and before and beyond, it was very hard to get a superhero movie at all. They were few and far between, and most of them sucked. Except for, you got Superman. They did a great job with the first Superman movie and the second Superman movie, and the other ones are kind of, they're getting a little off. The first Batman movie and the second Batman movie is pretty good. That was about it. Then they started doing a little bit of Spider-Man, which was kind of fun. Green Lantern sucked. A lot of stuff sucked. Now it's nothing but superhero movies, which I think was appropriate at the time because they were few and far between. They came out with Iron Man. Iron Man did well. It's a great movie, so they started making the whole Marvel Universe stuff, which was great for a few years, but now there's so much oversaturation. I'm thinking they should have stopped at Endgame. Let some years go by and then bring back superheroes again. Too much of a good thing, you guys, is always... It doesn't work out for me. Rob Hughes says, I would like a spinoff of the Orville about what other realities were created because of the setups they have made. Twice in a lifetime. Maybe a show about the Kalon creators. See the Uprising. I would love that. Also, don't forget, the Orville shouldn't even exist. It should have exploded in episode 5 of season 1, in the episode Priya with Charlize Theron. She saved them from being destroyed in that star or comet or asteroid, whatever was going on. I can't remember the exact circumstances. But the Orville was supposed to be destroyed. She saved them so that she can sell them to the highest bidder in the 29th century. But then they escaped. And this was spoken about in the episode with Mercer about, as far as he is concerned, this is the new timeline. Whatever happens, happens. So the Orville shouldn't even be around. It should have been destroyed. So everything after episode 5 is an alternate timeline. And I think there's a couple other examples of stuff that happened in the Orville. I can't think of them right now. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was just Priya. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds. Maybe we should have just had... Maybe the Deadpool series should have been the last superhero movie for a decade. That's true. What if Priya was lying about that? But at this point, we've seen no evidence of that. So I do know... so I'm not doing the what if. I'm not putting the what if above the what we saw, I guess is the best way to put it. Orville Nation, thank you so much. I want to see Scott Grimes' character in Ted be Gordon Malloy stuck in the 21st century in an alternate timeline. It might actually feel that way with the fact that we'll be able to hear Seth MacFarlane's voice in the series as well. Ted will be a show that I cover. Probably they're going to do a one episode a week. One episode a week is great for if you want to get coverage, if you want to get reviews and stuff like that. When you put out an entire season at once, for instance, at the beginning of the week, I discovered a brand new show just premiered, Hulu original, Extraordinary. They put out the whole season. It was like 8 to 10, probably 8 episodes, I think it was. Such a good show. Hilarious. Very modern. Like in my review, it's a little bit punk feeling. It's very adult humor. Very adult situations. A little bit crass, a little bit raunchy, but also super heartfelt. Extraordinary is the name of the show. Takes place, I'm assuming, Dublin, because it's a big city and it's Irish, so I'm like, oh, it must be Dublin. And it's a show about a world where everybody, 18 and over, everybody has superpowers, some sort of superpower, either an awesome superpower or a super lame superpower, but everyone's got one. Everyone's special in some way, except for the star of the show, Jen, who's 25 and has no superpowers. She's the only one. Well, there's a handful of people that don't have superpowers, but they're few and far between. And all she wants is a superpower so she can be like everybody else. The show was hilarious. It's great. Everyone I've referred it to who's watched it loved it. I even put out a shirt that I made inspired by Extraordinary this week called it's called Jizz Lord, but I won't tell you anything about that. But it's funny. Check it out if you can. It's on Hulu. If you're not in America, it's on Disney Plus because it is a Disney show. Disney has already renewed it for a second season, and yes, it is extremely adult, way more adult than the Orville season 3, and it's a Disney joint, you guys. So I see people saying, "Oh, Disney's not gonna," they're worried about the Orville. Oh, they're not gonna let Disney doesn't care. But Bob Iger might care. So that's probably another issue. The Orville was very adult. Bob Iger, I don't think, likes super adult stuff being associated with Disney. So he's probably, feeling much better about having the show be on Hulu, because that's where they put more adult stuff. But we'll see. I bet you they'll say, look, this is the way it's going. Business stuff, Bob. Business stuff. And he's like, yeah, business stuff. Gotta do what's good for business. So I don't think that's going to be much of a problem. But also, Extraordinary, you guys. Check it out. Hulu, Disney Plus. I do not think you will be disappointed. As long as you can handle adult material, but funny adult material. John Burns, thank you so much. I want to see Gordon Malloy be Sam and Ed be Al. Be AI Ted. Good old AI. Let's do it. I'm going to green light that project for you, John. Let's go ahead and make it happen. Now, what was I going to say about Ted? Oh, Gordon. Last night I watched a movie. It was I loved it. It was quirky. It was fun. It had a lot of, it was so funny. It had a lot of very famous people in comedy and in other types of genres as well, called How It Ends. It's about the last day of Earth before it gets destroyed. Everyone knows it's going to get destroyed. What happens? It's just about a woman living the last day of Earth, and everybody knows this is the last day of Earth. Pretty fun, quirky movie. A lot of famous people in it, but it had Bradley Whitford in it. And one thing I didn't realize before, and I see a lot of stuff with Bradley Whitford in it, he would be the perfect Malloy. If we get an episode in season 4 where we finally get to meet, like, maybe Gordon has a brother or something like that. I don't think Bradley's old enough to play Gordon's father, but he'd be great as an older brother. I was watching, I'm like, dude, he could totally be a Malloy. It totally fits. So next time you see Bradley Whitford, especially if you see him in this movie, How It Ends, I think it's available on Prime, Amazon Prime right now. Check it out. I think you'll probably agree with me that I think I'm going to be voting for Bradley Whitford to be in the Orville. Oh, let me press some buttons here for you, Medallion. Show sheer effing hubris. Thank you so much, John Burns, again. Not AI, but Al and Sam. Okay, that's where I originally went with it. Al and Sam. If I usually see the name Sam and there's L, even though it looks like AI nowadays, yeah, I'm thinking Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap, baby. I didn't really enjoy. Of course, I love it now, but growing up, I never really enjoyed the first episode of the original Quantum Leap. Loved every episode after it, though. Just because there's a lot of courtroom stuff going on in it, and it's kind of slow. But you got to set up a story, right? You got to set up a plot. No, that's on my list, Minkin. I'm waiting for it to become completely free. I think it's available for early access. I don't know if it's free yet, but yeah, it's on my list of things to see. John Burns, who doesn't? I don't know, kids now, millennials. Oh, I like that. Planetary Federation of Unions says Gates McFadden as Gordon's mother for season 4. Love it. And we can give her a little bit of a New Jersey accent because Gordon's from New Jersey. Donnie Pearson, I myself wish the Disney-owned ABC would have picked up the Orville for season 3 after 2 seasons on the Fox network. So here's what happened, as best that I'm aware of. So the Orville was doing season 3. They were getting it ready, building it, maybe, I don't know, rehearsing. I don't know what they were doing. But they were working on the Orville at the Fox slot during season 3 when it was still a Fox show. And then it was time to, it was time for Seth to move. He had that new deal with, he was shopping around for a new deal because he was tired of working with Fox because of their other ventures that they do aside from the regular, regular Fox network with all the fun shows and all that stuff, and Fox and Friends. And no, that's a different channel. I was thinking, what was it called? Anyway, a morning show. Anyway, I was trying to make a joke. It didn't work. And he didn't want to work with Fox anymore. It's been 20 years, And so he's shopping around. NBC comes along with a huge offer. So Seth's like, okay, I'm going to move away from Fox. Not completely, but... my main stuff. I want to move along, but he wanted to figure out how to keep the Orville safe. He didn't want it to be fully in Fox hands. He can't just bring it to another network. So he had to keep it in the Fox family. The show always did amazing with streaming. It always did amazing on Hulu. In fact, I've never watched the Orville on Fox. I've only ever, since day one, watched it on Hulu, where it had great numbers. So they're like, okay, we can definitely move it to streaming, and we can move it, which is better for the show anyway. We got an in with Hulu, so Hulu picked it up, and they kept filming it at the Fox lot because they were already set up for the Fox lot. And Fox is at that point, Fox and Disney both, and Comcast both owned, all three of them were part shareholders in Hulu. Now, of course, Disney bought out Fox and Hulu, so Disney is the main shareholder for Hulu, but also Comcast has a piece of Hulu as well. Comcast is NBC. NBC is Peacock, which is now the boss of Seth MacFarlane. Seth MacFarlane has a contract with NBC. And I'm totally forgetting where I'm going with this point, but that's basically what happened. That's why it was still shot at the Fox lot, is because they already had it set up. They already started the shoot for season 3 before they realized Seth was like, "Oh, I'm never going to finish this for the time slot that Fox gave us." They're like, he's like, it's going to take at least another year, right? And this is before COVID, so they moved it to the Hulus, and I'm thinking, what if Comcast gets enough money to buy out enough of Disney's share of Hulu to become the main owner of Hulu, which would then mean, is it possible that the Orville could move to Peacock, which would be fine with me. I'll go wherever the Orville's going, and where Seth actually works and is making content for. Which, if the Orville's being made for NBC or slash Peacock, Seth would be able to get to it way quicker, because that means he'd be fulfilling some of his contract with NBC, because he'd be making a show for them. I'd be fine with that, but also the worldwideness, the worldwide reach that Disney has for the Orville, because the whole world has the Orville now. Even Germany has the Orville now. I kind of like that as well, because more than anything, I want the Orville just to reach as many people as possible, because that's how you build a legacy. That's how you get people, the most amount of people, and everyone around the world loves the Orville. So keep it going. Disney, let's get it going. Like I said about 5 minutes ago, I forgot where I was going with that conversation, but I had some things to say, and hopefully you learned something. I never claimed to be a teacher. Orville to get the cock? I don't know. I'm just fully guessing on that. I remember when Peacock first came out, and Seth MacFarlane was on some chat show talking about, because he moved to NBC, and he's like, yeah, unfortunately I didn't get signed on with Peacock until after they came up with that horrible name for a streaming service. That's just because it has the word cack in it. Curtis Tate, by the time we get another season of the Orville, we will be too old to care. No, I don't think. I think it won't be that long, though. I do think it'll be a little while. But come on, we watched Basic Instinct and we thought it was over forever, but then just a couple decades later, which I don't think it'll be that long, we got more Basic Instinct. Now we're all satisfied with our Sharon Stone-ness. Our Sharon Stone cups are full, you guys. The CBC should buy Disney. All hail the CBC. The corp is mother. The corp is father. The corp is baby. I remember reading that Germany hated Joan Collins, so in The City on the Edge of Forever, they spliced in a different actress. I have no idea if this is true. Oh man, that'd be crazy. That would be crazy. But I'm thinking of the shots going back between Kirk and Joan. If they'd be able to fake it. Yeah, I think they'd be able to fake it. But wow, that's crazy. If it were today, they definitely would be able to fake it. With an app on their phones. John Burns, my $2 super chat at JP. Let me go back. Am I missing stuff? Yeah, I am. Thanks, John. John Burns, thanks for reminding me, John. Sorry I missed it. I get off on these tangents. I'm getting off on one right now, and I still haven't addressed your super chat. John Burns, post-credit scene, Ted leaps. Oh, boy. Oh, that'd be fun. Maybe I'll edit one of those. I've said this before in previous years, because it is a lot for one person with the demand that having a YouTube channel has if you want it to grow. And this type of stuff I like to do. I like to edit stuff, but I just can't as much as I want to. It's too much. I bet you I can edit that. I could edit that scene together where I can make it where Ted leaps. I bet you I could do that. And I love making little clips like that and putting them into my videos, where then the rest of the video I just talk like an idiot for 5 to 10 minutes. I'm trying to figure out, as I go forward with videos, I want to be more talky, but I do want to throw in a little weird thing at the beginning of episodes. Little things I edited together or just did something weird. YouTube's telling me about my keyframes. Leave me and my keyframes alone, YouTube. But yeah, I'm trying to take back fandom, and I want to bring you guys with me. Have a fun time. Have a fun time. If you find something you like, lift it up. Love on it a little bit. Give it a little, you're so cute, you little fan thing that I like. Instead of everyone's just hating on stuff. I think I've had a lot of you over the years come to me talking about how you're so sick of all the negativity for no damn reason at all. Just people trying to get those clicks, you guys. and it's all just a hangers-on type of thing. Some people got became successful doing that, so every YouTuber out there is trying to get onto that. It's like, years ago, a few people were very successful just streaming video games. That don't work anymore. It hasn't worked for a long time. You gotta take a clip of a video game and educate people on something. Show them how to pass the level. You can't just stream unless you started it a long time ago and build up your audience early. But you see everybody trying to do it. And I just don't work that way. I've tried my whole life. I just cannot follow trends. If everyone is doing something, I always try to go do the opposite. But man, YouTube does make it hard because certain things do work. So I'm trying to figure out how to overcome some of or try to do something that's my way. I'm a little bit like Frank Sinatra. I'm basically Frank Sinatra, you guys. I'm trying to do it my way. Galaxy Rocks. What's up, Galaxy? Disney needs to put Orville merch on Shop Disney so that people from other countries can own official Orville merch right now. It's only on Hulu in the US. I've never looked into the Disney side of things. I know Hulu has a bunch of stuff. I haven't even looked into Disney, but I would agree with that assessment, Galaxy Rocks. They should. Of course, for anyone that wants something Orville related, just go to my shirt store. It's linked somewhere. I got all my links, all that stuff. There's a shirt store. I got a lot of Egotastic FunTime talking to Orville stuff if you want to check it out. And at least, get the third party going. Have an Egotastic FunTime with the Orville. Wear it on your chest. Do you know that I love Dark Matter so much, JP? I think I figured that out, John Burns. I need to watch at least one episode of Dark Matter and talk to you about it. I will try to remember that. To just watch one episode of Dark Matter so that we can chat about it, John. I'm sorry I have not done that. I am just barely, after a few years of kind of just watching the Orville and then some of my go-tos, stuff that I've seen a million times, Parks and Recreation, The Office, all the Michael Schur comedies, Superstore, all that stuff, The Good Place, just watching reruns after reruns of that stuff, with the occasional movie here and there. I'm finally getting back into watching stuff, and I'm enjoying myself, it's been a long time since, except for the Orville, I have not enjoyed myself. But I just started watching Barry on HBO a week ago, and now I finished all 3 seasons, and I am so freaking impressed with the show. It's industry film. It's industry show, which I always loved. Like your LA Story, stuff like that. It's crazy. It's very adult. It's very funny, and it's got some great characters. And Bill Hader is amazing in it. I'm super impressed with him now. I was always impressed with him, but now I'm super impressed with him. What else did I've been watching? I've watched a lot of movies. Now, I've already seen, I watched The Road. I was so hard up for more apocalypse stuff because of The Last of Us. I was like, I need a good apocalyptic road trip movie. So I watched The Road again for the first time since it came out like a billion years ago. So freaking good. I watched Marriage Story, which is amazing, though some of the material, some of the plot points, the actions of the characters kind of hit a little too close to home for me, so I was like, I don't want to go through that. But the movie was great. Last night I watched, like I said, How It Ends, which is about the last day of Earth. And everybody knows that this is going to be the last day of Earth and just a little adventure somebody has during that day. I've watched so much more stuff. Extraordinary. Totally binged that in a day and a half. Just been having a great time watching stuff, you guys. It's been a long time. Dark Matter's being broadcast on the CW. That's awesome. I'd have to download the CW app to watch it. I don't have regular television or cable television, and I never will again. This I promise you. But there's still a few things you could find on regular television shows that are worthwhile. So I'll download the app. It's free. If they got Dark Matter on it, I'm sure they probably have at least a couple episodes. We'll get it checked out. Yes, Curtis Tate, have you seen the Night Court reboot? Yes, I've watched all 3 episodes that are available. Totally dig the show, especially at a 1 episode a week type of speed. I don't know if I could watch a situational comedy in that format for more than 1 episode at a time. Totally enjoying the characters. Dan Larroquette is just doing a great job. It feels exactly like the old show, and I see people complain about it. They're like, oh, this is, it's not funny. I'm like, I've laughed multiple times watching it. It's not funny. It's not as good as the original. I'm a huge fan of the original Night Court. I was there since day one. And I've watched episodes of the original Night Court recently. Love the show. But I have to tell you, nobody loves these shows the first couple episodes. You have to fall in love with these characters over a span of time. So when I watch an episode of Night Court, I'm watching it in 2 ways. I'm taking away all my memories of it, or at least putting up a wall so I can watch it in a way as if I'm watching it for the very first time, but also there's the fan of me watching it. So I'm able to see, oh, I love these characters just because I had enough time with them to fall in love with them. But as the side of me that is pretending not to know anything about the show, the original Night Court isn't that great, really. You have to have some time with these things. So people are complaining about stuff. I'm like, oh, it's way too early to complain. It's exactly like the original show, same feel, but you're not going to love any of the characters right now. You have to give it time. I enjoy it, especially at a 1 episode a week speed, like I said. One thing I am not enjoying at a 1 episode a week speed is Celebrity Jeopardy. Damn it, I hate waiting for every week for a new episode of Celebrity Jeopardy. It's been a damn good season. And, I usually get 95% of the answers right. So I really like Celebrity Jeopardy. But damn, it's been good. Had Will Wheaton on this season. And I think he's coming back for the semifinal in the very next episode. And I believe he won one of the games, and he only bet for Final Jeopardy. He bet 1701, which is a slick nerd movie, guys. Will Wheaton, he's a slick nerd dude. He's gonna throw in some nerd references. Donnie Pearson, Egotastic FunTime. Me too. It was decent enough for me, though, to be honest. Donnie says the score and a new recording of the original theme tune are among the things I love best, though. I love that the format of the intro is also the same as the original. The song is great. They could have added a couple more bars as far as I'm concerned, because the original, if I recall, the original Night Court had that extra, the song always ends with da da da, and the original one I think had that twice with another da da da, and then the show starts. But yeah, I'm totally digging the show, and it was a little bit hard for me because I don't like that stage sitcom format anymore. Though I used to love it when I was younger, and every once in a while something comes out where I'm like, okay, I'll give it a pass with that. But another show, stage sitcom show that also was rebooted that came out is the 90s Show. Now available on Netflix, the whole season. I think also 8 episodes. Which is a reboot of that 70s show. I was never super into that 70s show, but I would watch it quite a bit back in the day. And I enjoyed it. I wasn't in love with it, but I enjoyed it. And the new one, the 90s Show, is pretty good. It feels exactly the same tone. They got the new kids, which are the grandkids now of the original cast. Well, some of the original kids. They're pretty decent. There's one that represents every single type of character from the original show. But really, the best part about the 90s Show is Red and Kitty. Kurtwood Smith, is that it? Kurtwood Smith and Deborah Jo, I can't remember her last name. Red and Kitty, that's the best part of the show. I wouldn't mind it, even though all the new kids, they did a good job, and they're all cute kids. I hate that I'm old enough to say they're cute kids and actually feel it for reals. Red and Kitty, I would watch a whole show of just Red and Kitty. I care about what they're going through more than I do the kids. But hey, what you gonna do, right? But it's still fun to see all the 90s stuff that they're having fun with. So I binged it. Jessica and I binged it. And even a stepkid watched a few episodes and he really liked it. It was fun to watch. And it's only 8 episodes. You can binge it, have a good time, and then move on to the next thing. Mila Kunis, says Curtis Tate. I would love to see Mila on the next season of the Orville. Anorax, Medallion says. Well, unless they wanted some dystopian crap. Dystopian crap. The Last of Us, that's my favorite type of dystopian. Something different, finally. I love zombie stuff. I've said this a million times over the years. Love zombie stuff. But man, I get tired of it. It's the same old crap. And finally, The Last of Us is something that's different. And it's more realistic. There's no supernatural involved with, the dead rising from the grave and all that stuff. Finally, something different. And it's a nice character study of the two main characters, their relationship together. And it's a road movie. They're going to be going across the country by lots of different means in The Last of Us. By foot, by vehicle, by horse. You're going to have a lot of options going on. They can only travel by whatever means they can find, right? Yes, I'd love to see David Tennant. I'd love to see David Tennant as a alien. You can barely recognize who he is, like they did with Rob Lowe's Derulio. A lot of people didn't realize that Rob Lowe was in the very first episode of the Orville. He's in the pilot. He was playing Derulio in that very first scene, but they didn't give him any dialogue or anything. It was just a quick scene, and then they brought him back in what was that, episode 9, Cupid's Dagger. A lot of people just probably assumed it was a different, just some person they had stand in. No, that was actually Rob Lowe. Lady Hawk's Lair. I used to watch a lot of dystopian stuff, but reality is enough for me now. Yeah, there's in some ways I feel, man, I would prefer a dystopian future. As an American, I can't speak for other countries and other people's experiences, only myself as living in this country. Man, I'm so tired of being ripped off left, right, and center. Every aspect of life is a rip-off. Someone trying to get your money, get your time, get you to be a product of the system. And I mean that in a consumer type of way. The Doctor Meets the Orville. Man, I'd pay for that. I'd pay for that season out of my own pocket. But my pockets aren't very deep. Orville Nation. Yeah, wow. PJ, are you still overseas? I mean, you'll probably have a whole different point of view of what's going on over there. Maybe it's the same, maybe it's different. Well, I'm sure it's different in some aspects, even if it ends up being the same. It'll be the same in a different way. Kind of like The Last of Us series on HBO. It's the same, but in a different way. Rob Hughes, Mila on the Orville as Lenike, Einike, Loik, an Officer Stewart. Every time she speaks, we hear a "Just be quiet, Megan. Shut up, Meg." Anyone seen Willow? Again, it's okay, not that bad, but I really need something like the Orville good. Yeah, I haven't seen the Willow show. I've seen trailers for it. I've seen a clip here and there for it. I know some people love it, some people hate it. That's always going to be the case in this day and age. Willow, even the original, "You truly are great," never appealed to me that much. And I don't know if it's because Willow, it's fantasy, which is fine. but I hear American accents in it. I don't like that. I like a full-blown commitment to the world. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not against it. I'm rooting for it because I love what's his face? Willow. I know his name. I just can't think of it right now. The Doctor, not the Doctor. The Doctor and Dr. Finn go on an adventure together. I'd love that. Orville Nation says, I'm back and forth. Because you could travel now, huh? For a while, we couldn't travel. One of the reasons the Orville had to ex-nay, I think it was going to be the original episode 9, which is Sympathy for the Devil. My favorite Orville story, Sympathy for the Devil. Unfortunately, we were not able to get it made in season 3, but Seth MacFarlane has hope for a season 4 and that they'll be able to make it in that 4th season. Make that episode. I want to see it. I want to see it with my eyeballs, not just my ears and my reading ability. Though I preferred the ears part because listening to Bruce Boxleitner tell me the Sympathy for the Devil story was really awesome. Wednesday is great. Jessica and I binged Wednesday when it first came out. Totally dug that. Did not think I was going to like it. I'm very much over Tim Burton. I've been over Tim Burton for a very long time. But Tim Burton, I don't know if they reined him in a little bit, or maybe he's just older, wiser, more mature. He reined himself in a little bit. He made it Tim Burton-y, the new Wednesday show, but not overly Tim Burton-y. It was a nice mix. Great characters, great little story, great mystery to solve, and some fun along the way. And the Addams Family is another thing where I'm like, come on, stop making these old franchises over and over and over again. But they did a great job with Wednesday. And it gave me some Buffy vibes. I love it when shows give me Buffy vibes. It doesn't happen very often. Donnie says it was so-so, the Willow series, so-so for him. Yeah, I have no opinion on it. Warwick Davis, that's his name, right? Warwick Davis. I have no opinion on it. I wish it well. I wish fans of the series, I wish them well. But there's so many things. There's so many things. You can't watch all of them, right? Donnie Pierce says, I love Wednesday, though. It was fun and it was different and new. I've really come to appreciate things that are different and new. Jeff B, what's going on? Hail and Gelogia to all. Hail and Gelogia to you. Let's see if this still works. Georgia! It does still work. Hail and Gelogia. Curtis Tate says, good observation, JB. Thanks, Curtis. The Munsters have returned, actually. Rob Zombie put out a Munsters movie just a couple months ago. It was on a service I do not have, so even though we wanted to watch it, we didn't watch it. So I'm like, I'm not... whatever service it's on, I'm not going to sign up for. We'll just have to do without for a while. Harry Potter and Buffy vibes. New band name, I call it. Harry Potter and the Buffy vibes. Oh, I love Buffy too. I love Angel. I didn't expect to love Angel as much as I did, but I loved Angel. I blame Lorne. Lorne was just too good. Just like in Barry, I love the character of NoHo Harry. If you know who I'm talking about. What a crazy character. I love it. Liked Adult Wednesday. Hopefully they come out with a sequel called Thursday. Buffy, Angel, all the good stuff. Me and Donnie agree on Willow. I wish it luck, but hey, whatever happens, happens, I guess. There's going to be a lot of shows. There already are, especially on Netflix. A lot of shows that you like, that you fall in love with, that will simply just get canceled. Because if you're not making the most money to these streaming services, you're not making any money. So you got to beat all records to get picked up nowadays, I think. Or be cheap to make. There's a lot of shows, like especially on Netflix, but you know, all the streaming services, I'm like, how in the hell did that get renewed? Ugh, not my thing, but you know, it's somebody's thing, and it doesn't cost anything to make. So the less you cost to make, the higher your chances are of getting renewed. If you get at least a slightly okay amount of views and subscriptions. Andy Hallett was great. Yeah. Andy played Lorne, right? He's no longer with us, sadly. He died a long time ago at this point. He had some sort of heart problem that he dealt with for a long time. Maybe he was born with it. John Burns says John Larroquette was a Klingon in Search for Spock. Was he? I mean, I believe you. I'm just trying to remember back. I'm trying to think of John Larroquette as a Klingon. He'd be amazing as a Klingon. I saw John Larroquette off Broadway in a show called Escape from Moscow. It's like a little family drama. Two older parents and their adult age son, all played by famous people. I can't remember who they are though. I was like in the third row. Such a good show. Totally loved it, but also I was just awestruck by seeing a good actor do good acting in front of my face. That stuff always gets me. Like when I you know, you watch something on TV, a concert on TV, and a great singer sings something great, you're like, wow, that's really good. But when you hear it in person, see it in person, it's a whole other level of visceral effect upon a person's psyche. Don Pearson, speaking of Netflix, I'm hyped about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I said it to the tune of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's what I do as an 80s kid. Once and Always, Cosmic Fury, and the final season of Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai is something I need to catch up on. I've only seen the first few seasons, but there's been a bunch since, right? You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. Firefly is on/off again. Yeah, ever since Firefly got canceled, I think it was in 1943, there's been rumors every year, and this is just clickbaiters doing crap most of the time. Keep saying it's gonna come back. They're gonna make it. They're gonna do a remake. They're gonna bring back the whole cast. It's always something. Always something. Never trust anything you see on the internet. If they're saying they're making a movie, they are not until you see a trailer. Those are the rules I go by. Until I see a trailer, it's all lies. And you can't even trust trailers because people will make spoof trailers nowadays from scenes from other movies and TV shows. Brilliant, great work, but totally a fake, totally a lie. No rush at all, my friend. I'm always rushing. Oh, that's another thing I watched a few weeks ago. Season 2 of Avenue 5. Absolutely loved it. Cannot wait to see where season 3 brings us. That show is totally Gilligan's Island in space, but where everything gets worse every single episode. Whereas Gilligan's Island would always reset every episode. Oh man, Avenue 5 is a comedy of errors. Highly recommend it. Don't judge it. Just keep watching it. You will start to appreciate it. Yeah, 1942 is a great year when Firefly debuted in ye old Fox channel. Yeah, that's when the channel was just The Hound. Then in the 60s they called it the Fox and Hound, and then in the 80s they switched it to Fox, debuted Married with Children, and everything took off from there. Space Karen is my favorite character on Avenue 5. You know, I haven't thought about who my favorite character is in Avenue 5. There's a whole slew of them, and the new ones being introduced all the time. Oh, I think I like... What's her name? Is it Bobby? Anyway, the main engineer. She's hilarious. But there's some... I mean, the captain, Hugh Laurie, he's so great. Always effed. No matter what he tries to do. And he's trying not to do anything because he doesn't feel qualified. And maybe he isn't qualified, but everyone thinks he's qualified. Larroquette plays Maltz. Kirk beams up with Spock. John Larroquette? I thought we were talking about... Oh yeah, John Larroquette. For some reason my brain went Dan. I did not see John Larroquette in a play. I was thinking of what's his name? Dan, the dad from Third Rock from the Sun. No, John Larroquette, who plays Dan. I'm getting all mixed up. Now, I did see John Larroquette when I was a kid. Went and saw the movie Look Who's Talking 2, I think it was. And John Larroquette was sitting right in front of me for the entire movie because I think he was checking out what's her name? The mom from Look Who's Talking. She died just a couple months ago. Why can't I remember her name? Anyway, he starred in a movie with her the following year. So I think he was just supporting her latest movie. That's what I made up in my head. Dan Fielding. My new show is Son of a Critchwith, Malcolm McDowell. What was this? Malcolm McDowell from Generations, right? What did he play? Was it Sauron? I don't know, some Lord of the Rings thing. John Lithgow. That's it, LGL. John Lithgow. Kirstie Alley. That's right. Also, Kirstie Alley played a Vulcan. Everything leads back to Star Trek, you guys. Medallion, where did I just see that? Medallion, Lady Hawk says, Medallion is saving me from typing shiz. Soren, that's it. Dr. Soren. Also from, what's the movie from the 60s he was in? Or did it come out in the 70s? I don't even know. It looks very 60s. Savick. All these S names in sci-fi, you guys. And in fantasy. Galaxy Rock says, the best episode of Space Force is Space Flag, episode 5, first season. I watched the first season of Space Force when it first came out a few years ago. Loved it. Have not gotten back into it for season 2 as of yet. But now that I'm getting back into watching things so that we can have lots of conversations about stuff, and I'm enjoying it, I'll have to get into season 2 of Space Force. Lenora Critchblow, Bobby, was in the UK version of Being Human. That was a great show. They also had they had the American version of Being Human. I've watched a little bit of both back when they were newer. Oh, everybody stop what you're doing. Joe has got a huge announcement. You guys, the Golden Girls are on Disney Plus. What? Yeah, the Golden Girls are on Disney Plus right now. Turn off this stream, fire up the Disney Plus, because we got some people to thank for being a friend. Let's do it now. Travel around the world and back again. I love Golden Girls. I haven't watched it in forever, of course, but man, I love Golden Girls. Now they just have a special place in my heart. Dorothy, Blanche, Sophia, and the rest. are here on Golden Girls Island. Clockwork Orange. I was just watching, I had to seek it out. One of my favorite music videos and songs, very much inspired, the video very much inspired by Clockwork Orange. The Universal by Blur. Oh, I love that song. Love the music video. Such a great job. Check it out if you get a chance. Speaking of music, you see all my guitars back there, right? I got my Ovation guitar. I got my regular Fender acoustic guitar. I got my, I got a couple of electric guitars. And then I got a bass. As I'm trying to reclaim myself. I can do a lot of things. I've done a lot of things in my life. One of the things I do is I can play stringed instruments. I even got a violin in the garage somewhere. Don't play that as well as the other ones. But the last many years, haven't been playing much. I've been doing this whole internet thing. And I decided enough is enough. I'm going to take back my fandom of playing music. So the hard part is this. I hate wires. Electric instruments require plugging in wires and having wires all over the damn place. So I usually like to jam out on an acoustic guitar. You just pick it up and play it, right? The problem is that Ovation sucks. Absolutely sucks. I can't stand the damn Ovation. My Fender, which I really love, one of the tuning keys on the tuning machine broke off. You can't tune the damn thing unless you get like some pliers or something like that. And even that, it's hard. So what I've done is, just yesterday I ordered a new knob for the machine at the top. Gonna get some new strings. I know I have a tuning key somewhere, but I don't know where it's at, so I ordered that. All cheap stuff. I'm gonna take back my musicianship, you guys. I'm gonna start playing again, so maybe I'll share a little bit here and there in my videos and see what you think. But yeah, I'm excited to get back to practicing my old craft of playing music. It's a very private thing. I usually don't share. I don't care to play in front of people or share my music. I just like to play. So we'll see what happens. So maybe sometimes I won't be in front of this computer unless I'm looking at some tablature or something like that. We'll see. No, I'm going to do it. I ordered all the stuff. But damn, I got to restring a guitar. And I hate that, but I got to do it. Madai says, guitars, love. I even got a 12-string Villager, I think, in the closet somewhere from a 1957 12-string Villager, which is a cool little guitar for a 12-string especially, because it's a regular size acoustic, not some giant 12-string, but it's a 12-string guitar, but it has a metal rod right through not only the bass of the guitar all the way through the top of the neck, so it can deal with the tension that 12 strings would require. Maybe I'll fire that thing up, but it is old, man. It is 1957, and it's not in the best shape, but it's still pretty cool. So maybe I'll get that thing going as well. Rose. When I hear Rose, John Burns, I think of Rose Tyler. What Rose are we talking about? I have to scan. Medallion says, yeah, I mainly play acoustic these days. Can't be bothered to hook things up, and I live in an apartment, so yeah, I know that life. Amplification is not our friend. Absolutely. That's another thing that switched me over to acoustic. I always lived in apartments for most of my adult life. And so, yeah, that kind of squashes the whole electric guitar thing, right? Yeah, amplification is not a friend. Yeah, I have a Fender Frontman, was a 212R amp right here, and then I have a just a little Line 6 practice amp over here. I have not hooked up this big amp in a very long time. And I'm going to go in the garage and get all my old guitar pedals. I mean, I got all this, you know, all the distortions and the acoustic pedals. And I even have a loop pedal that I never really got into. I want to get back into practicing my loop pedal. Should be fun. John Burns, thank you so much for that super chat. I met Robin Curtis in August. We talked about the Equalizer episode she was in. Robert McCall's buddy and her were part of an operation that went bad, so there was some tension between them. Were you able to bring them back together? Were you able to smooth out the situation? If anyone could, it's you, John Burns. I believe in you. You're definitely the glue that has been keeping this live stream together, so I very much appreciate it. Lone Puppy, what's up? On YouTube, I watched a guy make an electric guitar out of 1,000 aluminum cans. That is awesome. I've been watching a lot of guitar videos lately, including just the guitars that I want. They got all these high-tech guitars now with all these buttons and stuff. Oh, man, I want one so bad. But what I really want, like I said, I hate wires, is they have these things you can put inside of your acoustic guitar. It's like a little pickup. It has effects and stuff, and a little speaker. And of course, you're inside of a guitar, so it's its own natural speaker to boot. It'll add effects to your acoustic guitar naturally. No wires, no nothing. It just comes out of the guitar hole, out of the sound hole. Gotta love a sound hole, you guys. Betty White played Rose. Duh. Betty White played Rose. I forgot about Rose. She's my favorite. She's everyone's favorite. Thank you for being a friend for all those years, Betty White. You are missed, my friend. Betty White, I never met her, but she's my friend. She's your friend too. JP has an intro outro for Egotastic FunTime. Always trying to figure out what to do with that intro outro. Intros are very tough to have on YouTube. Everyone's got TikTok brain, so I try not to, you know, I like having an intro, but sometimes you just got to do away with it. Or find a new way to do it so that it's actually playing while you're speaking and while you're giving information or giving your opinion. Because as soon as an intro comes on, after maybe half a second, people click right off because they got TikTok brain. Good job, internet. And then outros is a... Sometimes I don't have an outro because outros aren't smart nowadays either, but I like having an outro, so sometimes I just keep them. I'm like, you know what, F it, YouTube. I'm not gonna do all the things you want me to do, YouTube. I don't care what the numbers say. Sometimes you just got to do what you want to do with your own content. Am I right? Or am I right? Or am I right? Bing! Yeah, Medallion, we do. We all love holes, don't we? Donut holes, potholes. Love potholes. Love running over a good pothole on a Sunday drive, you guys. A-holes. Yeah, rip Betty White. I'm on board with that. I loved her my whole life. There was a Betty White. The entire thing almost, except for the last little bit of it. There was tension in the episode of Equalizer. Well, it's up to you, John, to rewrite that episode and get that tension taken away. I don't want no tension. I want everyone to get along. I just watched something. What was it? I was commenting on it. I'm like, man, that was really good, but I hate that everyone was at odds with each other. I wanted everyone to get along. Boring television, probably. But hey, I don't want to watch people yell at each other sometimes. I either want people to say funny stuff to each other or try to shoot each other while running in an action scene. Cars are okay if they want to get in a car and drive around. I'll sign on for that as well. But just not getting along for not getting along's sake, not my thing. Pie holes are pretty good. Three-hole punches. That's 3 times as good. That's 3 holes at once. Which I think is an entire category on Pornhub. Brian Dawkins, what's going on? How is Nicola? Nicola is great. Yesterday, I was just telling Jessica about this. We're finishing up the season finale of Barry, so we're all in the living room. My wife, me, Ruthie the Dorgy dog, and Nicola the cat, Maine Coon cat. And Nicola is on the rug, on her back, just looking super fluffy, and staring at Ruthie, who is laying on the couch in front of my wife. And then I look over at Ruthie, and Ruthie is staring at Nicola, and they're both just silent, frozen, and staring at each other. Not with malice or anything like that. They're just looking at each other. And so now I'm looking at the two of them look at each other, and they did it for 5 minutes straight before one of them moved or flinched or anything like that. And I was like, I'm like, what is going on here with this cat and this dog just staring at each other? I know they spend all their time together. They're not like best of friends though. When it's time to eat, I'll tell you that right now. Or if one of them wants their space, but they're just staring at each other for 5 minutes straight. Animals are weird. Nature's scary. Damn, nature, you scary. Donnie says, speaking of NBC, 3 weeks more till the season 5 premiere of the current Magnum PI. Is that still on the air? I never even checked it out. I'm an OG Magnum PI dude. And really, I have to tell you, I wish CBS all the best. They've had a lot of stuff throughout the last 100 years that's been pretty damn good. I do not enjoy regular CBS television. There's very few things that they put out that I like. I don't like the look, the cinematography. I'm sure the acting and the writing's okay, but I just don't like the look of CBS shows. So I never really got into the Magnum PI or most CBS shows. And I'm not trying to say anything bad about CBS. They're a TV channel. They got to get their content. They do it the way they want to do it. Every channel has their own look. If you see, I'm to the point where I can tell if something was shot by ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, and PBS. I could tell just by looking at the filters that are used and all that stuff. Never enjoyed the look of CBS content. Very few shows. I liked Young Sheldon. I think that's a fine show. They got some stuff. Tulsa King, but that's on the streaming service. That show looks fine. Maybe they're updating. I don't know. I do notice that NBC has updated their look on some of their shows. The new season of American Auto, which is a fun show. I really enjoyed the first season. Second season finally came out. It looks updated. It looks a little bit more cinematic, a little bit more the way that all these streaming shows, the high budget streaming shows look. I am wondering if NBC, maybe American Auto is only available on Peacock. I don't know. That stuff's happening now too. I'm not going to look into it. I don't care that much. Maybe NBC is the regular cable channels and primetime networks. Maybe they're updating the look of their shows in order to compete with these streaming services. I do not know. I haven't looked that deep into it yet, but just from the look, that's something I noticed just last night. I'm like, this show I don't think would deserve this sort of update, even though it's a great show, but it was fine the way it was. But the update, maybe they're trying to compete. Curtis Tate, yes. Another show that I think is very good on CBS is Ghosts. I watched the latest 2 episodes of that just last night. That is one thing you are proving me wrong on. Ghosts is good. If you have not seen Ghosts on CBS or the British version, which is still coming out with new seasons, check them out. Both are worth watching. Even as 2 different versions of the same show, you will get different things out of both shows. Even where they cross over, they do things a little bit different. But there's a lot of different stuff going on in 2 shows. So it's 2 shows for the price of 1, you guys. What's up, Kevin Scott? How are you doing? Ghosts, I would feel that Ghosts, Curtis, is going to get renewed for multiple seasons over the next few years. Very cheap to produce. Lots of great stories, characters, and laughs. And a universe that's being built. A lot of shows aren't able to build a universe. Ghosts is building a universe of ghosts, different types of ghosts. You're learning. We just learned about a whole new type of ghost in the 2 episodes ago, which was a lot of fun. Joe says, "Stop with the holes now." Well, there are bottomless holes. They never stop. Someone much earlier was looking for the name Savick, who was played by both Kirstie Alley and Robin Curtis. Kirstie and Alley both played Savick. Ghosts is a great show. Yeah, I love it when a show can create a universe. That's why I love shows like The Last of Us, for other reasons as well. But, you know, the Orville, Star Trek, The Last of Us. There's a bunch of them out there. The Walking Dead, Ghosts. They're able to create a universe with its own rules. Young Rock's not going to be able to do that, because it's not set up for that. I know The Last of Us Tess is completely different, but she makes the same choices, though. But the streaming show Tess made me think the universe could be a parallel to the Fringe universe. Bum, 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 because she's played by Anna Torv, who plays Tess. And I think we will be seeing Tess tonight, in tonight's episode. But you might think, oh, how's that going to happen? Tonight very much seems like it's going to have a lot of flashback material on The Last of Us. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm pretty sure, looking at the trailer for the new episode tonight, I'm pretty sure I saw her in the background in one of the scenes. Yeah, I've had other people talk about the whole Fringe thing because of Anna Torv playing a character in The Last of Us. Fringe is something I need to go back and check out. I didn't follow all of Fringe back in the day. I saw some of it, but I didn't really follow it. Don't forget the plot holes. And also, some people go off too early about plot holes before they see all the content, which a lot of times explains the plot hole or the perceived plot hole. So every time I see someone, you know, episode 2 or 3 of whatever, they're like, oh, that doesn't make sense. I'm like, keep watching. I bet you it makes sense. And it usually always does. In The Dark Knight, the cop in the hey, what's John Burns again? Thank you so much. In The Dark Knight, the cop in the interrogation room who gets pissed off at the Joker is also the guy who's Robert McCall's buddy in Equalizer. Oh, man, I can't remember any of the side characters in that movie. Even when watching it, it's probably hard. I'm surprised you even noticed that. It's hard to take your eyes off the Joker in that movie. The Joker. Dark Knight. Dark Knight's not my original Batman, but the Dark Knight definitely belongs in my Batman mythos. Definitely more than George Clooney or Val Kilmer. I like me some of that Christian Bale Batman, you guys. Medallion says, I will hold off on the holes talk. Don't hold off on the whole talk on my account. Lady Hawk says, I was busy Wim Hofing my hands. Upload was very good. Season 2 of Upload is very good. Cannot wait for Season 3 of Upload. Barry had a big cliffhanger in its 3rd season, which just, I guess, released not too long ago. I was very happy to get caught up. I've been meaning to get caught up on Barry for many years now. So glad I finally did. So impressed with that show. Upload is good. I assume it's coming back. I haven't looked into it. I stopped looking into all the behind the scenes stuff on all these shows because I wanted to start enjoying shows again. But also, I try not to lament any show because there's just too many damn shows. We have too much stuff, you guys. I'm becoming more and more sure of that with the passing of every day. It's something I've been paying attention to ever since I started covering shows on this channel 7 years ago. Lopo says, I love the Fringe series. Olivia was able to jump parallel universes almost at will by the end. Damn, that sounds like the type of thing I would like. I need to start watching Fringe, but man, it is tough to go back and watch a big, long show like that. So many episodes, and there's always so much new stuff to watch. And I'm always a appreciator of the old, but an on-the-track train rider for the new. I like to keep up. I like to see what nowadays Times is producing, is putting out there. Joker comes out with him and asks for a phone call. I gotta go back. I gotta go back and watch that. I've been having fun going back and watching things. This week I also I introduced 1408 to my wife, which, of course, 1408 is great. It doesn't age that well, but it's still a pretty damn good story. And then we watched Cell, another Stephen King story, a book I absolutely adored, except for the second half of the last page. The movie Cell, it's decent in many ways. Some ways it's like, ugh, that's kind of weird or doesn't look right or kind of doesn't make sense. Also hate the last half scene of Cell. Still worth the journey, but just know the last scene is gonna suck. But that was how the book was. So we watched that. I've been trying to watch at least one movie a night. Nighttime's the only time I watch television. It'll be a weekend, and Jessica doesn't mind. It's the weekend. She worked all week. She doesn't mind putting on stuff to watch. I'm like, I can't watch anything until the sun goes down. If there's daylight, I feel like I gotta be working on something. But when the sun goes down, I'll allow myself to go watch something. So I've been trying to watch something every night, something new. Either a new show or a movie. Even it could be an old movie that's still new than just watching the same old reruns of all the old shows that I like. But I'll throw some of those in there too. Sometimes you need a palate cleanser, am I right? John Burns says, have you ever seen Murdoch Mysteries? Google it. No, I've never even heard of the Murdoch Mysteries. But I do like mysteries. Did you see Glass Onion? The Knives Out sequel? That was a fun-ass movie. It had Batista in it. So even if the movie was bad, I wouldn't know. Because I like everything with Batista in it, and I don't know why. M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong did a good job with his new movie coming out, Knock at the Door, because it has Batista in it. So I'm probably more likely to watch that movie and maybe even enjoy that movie, even though Shyamalan puts out stuff that I do not like a lot of the times, because a lot of times I feel he's trying too hard. But every once in a while, he'll put out something I'm like, okay, I can go along with that. I watched the movie Old, a year or two ago when it came out. I thought the ending was kind of corny, but at the same time, I was able to give it a pass because I enjoyed the mystery of it. It's touch and go with Shyamalan when it comes to me. So we'll see. Knock at the Door seems very interesting, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, that premise might end up being annoying by the last scene. We'll see. Sometimes he'll just ruin the ending of a movie. Sometimes he doesn't. But hey, at least he gets to make movies, I guess. That's what happens when you come up with the idea of I see dead people. People will just let you keep doing stuff for a while. Glass Onion, I very, very much enjoyed. It's not like, a serious movie, but it does have a pretty good mystery to it. And it's fun. It's got some jokes. It's got some weird, funny situations in it. It's got some serious stuff going on as well. I watched The Menu. That movie I absolutely loved. It was like watching a Twilight Zone movie. Glass Onion rocked, said Dr. Omega. Ryan Johnson is fantastic. I'll have to agree with you on that. Once the starts of CBS Ghost, Rose McIver portrayed Ranger Yellow in Power Rangers RPM. Man, Donnie loves them Power Rangers. Do, 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 do. My stepkid knows who the Power Rangers are. He knows the song. He can sing it. He shouldn't. He shouldn't know that. That's not from his era. Give these kids something new. I beg you, Hollywood. But that isn't weird and doesn't suck. That's the hard part. M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong, says Big Funny Giant. One thing, so some of the things I'm thinking about when putting out content on this channel, because here's the thing, you guys, if I don't figure out a formula that works, this channel's done. I don't know how much longer I can do this. So I need to, and it's on me, I need to figure out the right formula that works. I'm always trying to I've been looking for it for years and thinking about it and trying things. I'm like, okay, that doesn't work. Try the things. Research. Look at what other people are doing. And usually I look at what other people are doing and just to see what I don't like, what I don't want to do. But also there's certain things that just work, and I don't like those things that work. So, because I'm trying to be my own path, you know. But yeah, I need to figure this out, and I need to figure it out soon, or things are going to change, unfortunately. But we'll see. I'm just so anti doing what society wants me to do type of guy. So I'm going to keep trying out things, you guys. Some things that I just want to talk about, weird stuff. I have to figure out how to do a variety, but still have that variety of things be a niche. It's all about the niche. So hopefully I'll try things and you guys come along and have fun with me. Definitely gonna try to up the live shows, but I need to figure out the office work side of things. I can't be doing these scheduling things, like scheduling, oh, this day, and have it all set up already, because then it doesn't work out when I go live and it'll attach itself to the wrong thing that I set up, because YouTube is a robot and sometimes it works like a dumb robot. It's all for me to figure out, you guys. It's my job. No, Daddy, it's my dog. I'll do it. Yeah, this channel is my dog. I'll do it. It's my responsibility. John Burns, old. Wait, a 6-year-old gets a 5-year-old pregnant? Yes, that did happen. That was interesting. It sounds insane. Sounds completely insane. I forgot all about that. I forgot about some of the ins and outs of that movie, but I enjoyed it. And that was one of those weird things that I'm like, that's horrible, but I guess that could happen under this scenario. Interesting. I like things like that think out weird scenarios and what would be possible in that weird scenario. Dr. Omega, 2 words, JP. Interpretive dance. That might actually be part of my new way of things, and I'm not even joking, Dr. Omega, because like I said, I want to make videos where I'm just talking about something just like this, edit it a little bit so it goes along smoothly without having lulls, but I want to put weird stuff in between the scenes. Little what are they called? Family Guy does them all the time. Asides, whatever they're called. I might do some interpretive dance for you guys. I used to make fun of interpretive dance all the time back in the So You Think You Could Dance days, you guys, in the early 2000s. So you never know. Have a weird suggestion, you might see it. I'm capable of anything. Don't test me. Can you play a song from the Orville? You have so many guitars. I haven't really worked on it, but that is on my list. That I'd prefer to do electric, which is right there. I got it. Might as well. I got crazy effects pedals. Might as well do it. Evil Empire. Why not try something kind of like Nostalgia Critic? I'll tell you why. Because in this, I've tested a lot of things and researched a lot of things. People are interested in new. They want you to talk about the new stuff. Sometimes people get lucky and they establish themselves talking about the old stuff, and I'm all for it because I watch stuff breaking down old stuff. But on this URL, from everything I've tried, the only thing that really does okay is when I talk about the new stuff, and only if not everyone else is talking about it. It's tough. Every channel's got different things that work for it and that don't. Like right now, if I did an episode breaking down one of the episodes of the Orville, it would hardly get any views at all. And I'm the Orville guy. But if the Orville makes an announcement about anything, people will tune in to see what that new information is. Even though some of the new information, I did a video the other day because they put out the latest thing about the latest news is basically there's no news, and I'm seeing it all over the internet. I'm like, well, I have to do a video about that. What would people think if I didn't? If they're talking about the Orville, I have to talk about it. So I had to put out a video about the nothing burger that came out, and I'm like, yeah, there's nothing to talk about, but I could find something to talk about with it. So I had to do that, and people tune in for that type of stuff. It's YouTube's a fickle bitch, I have to say. What works for one person doesn't work for another person. It's weird. It's like the lottery. You got to scratch off the correct numbers, right? Damn you, YouTube. I'm not downing YouTube. I still like YouTube. I think it's a good platform. But it's complicated, and you got to do your research. Can you play a song? From the Orville. That's a good idea. Cover the Orville theme. I did want to do just a little bit of the Orville theme on guitar, just so I can have it be a quick aside, because I love that. One of the first things I picked up from Family Guy decades ago was the quick aside, the cutaways. The cutaways, that's what they're called. I've always enjoyed that. Very ingenious. It was new back then. Now you see it all the time. I've always loved that gimmick. So I've done that a lot in my show, and I plan on doing it even more and more betterer at the same time. So, making little things, doing little dances, and just cutting away really quick. Hopefully sometimes the thing I cut away to actually applies to whatever I'm talking about. John Burns, do a search for pitch meeting. Old JB, enjoy. I think I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm a big fan of pitch meeting, where they're trying to pitch a show, and everything they say the guy says is ridiculous, but it gets picked up. Making fun of shows, very funny stuff, very clever stuff. But again, somebody's already doing it. But for quick cutaways, I've done stuff like that before, especially back in the old days of Egotastic FunTime. Totally love it. Would love to bring it back. Do more stuff like that. John Burns, thank you again. Have you seen the movie Violent Night, JP? No, it's on my list. It is now available to watch on Peacock. Just arrived. Totally on my list. I wish it arrived a little bit quicker to Christmas, because when it's Christmas time, in this house, we are very much Christmas oriented and minded when it comes to watching stuff about, Christmas movies, Christmas rom-coms, anything Christmas, good or bad. Totally wanted to see Violent Night so bad before Christmas. Still want to see it, so I'm still planning on pressing the play button and checking it out, because it looks like a lot of damn fun. And I love What's His Nuts, the guy that plays Santa in the movie from Stranger Things, who's also coming out on a new show on Netflix. Or maybe it's a movie. I hope it's a movie. I don't need everything to be 8 damn episodes, 10 damn episodes. Sometimes I got 2 hours to spare. New show called We Got a Ghost, which looks great. And that guy who plays Santa, he plays a ghost that's haunting a house, and then the family starts having fun, and Elias becomes friends with the ghost, and they start having adventures together. Anyway, I didn't explain it very well. Looks hilarious. I believe I shared it on my Twitter page. I think I posted the trailer for it. Ladies and gentlemen, Conway Twitty. Hello, darling. It's been a long time. You're just as lovely as you used to be. Love me some Conway Twitty. Now that was a handsome damn man with a perm. Angry Nerd Troll worked well. I would love to bring back Angry Nerd Troll. I just got to get inspired for it. I got a whole new Angry Nerd Troll right over there looking at me. I would love to bring him out. Filming stuff, I just got to get over it and just get stuff filmed. I just need to just bite the bullet. Use my cell phone for certain cutaways, and then I'll use my nice camera, which is right here, for regular videos. And then I'm like, oh damn, it's so, I got it all wired up and attached, and undoing it and bringing it anywhere else and having to put a regular battery in it is just so much trouble with how much I have to do as a one-man show. I'm like, don't worry about it, JP. Just pick up your damn cell phone, go record a 5-second sketch, and then incorporate it into the show. Well, nothing's wrong with that. It looks fine. So I need to get over myself in certain respects. Any problems that I have are my own fault. I always try to let people know most of our own problems are our own fault. And so I always try to be the first person to realize that anything that's going wrong or trouble. Now it's hard to do YouTube, be a content creator and have to always keep putting stuff out. But hey, that's what I chose. That's my problem. That's my fault. I'm just gonna pick up my cell phone and go have Angry Nerd Troll make some sweet love to it and do his thing. Silly old Angry Nerd Troll. But Violent Night, holy night. Minkin says, thoughts on the first time watching reaction videos? Seem popular now, and you have the following a mature audience for a different angle. Could be an occasional thing. Very occasional. I get people wanting me to do reaction videos, and I don't like reaction videos in the respect of somebody just watching the new episode of something. You see this all the time. You see some husband and wife on the couch reacting to what they see, and they got the damn thumbnail that's just them reacting and the stupid white outline and a picture of whatever they're watching, something like that. Very rarely do I appreciate that type of material. Sometimes I do. But when it comes to doing a first impression video where you watch a thing and then you talk about it, that I very much like. I even like it more when a specialist, a super smart brain that's a specialist in whatever the topic is of whatever the show is, love that stuff. So like I started watching, I've watched a lot of Last of Us reviews and educational videos where people figure out things in the show and they'll educate them. I found a channel ran by a doctor of medicine where he watches The Last of Us and just talks about all the medical stuff, whether it's actually something that could have happened or not happened, or wound, the knife wound. They're like, oh, okay, if that was the case and they got stabbed there, it does not work, or it does work. Love it when specialists react to something, or when somebody that doesn't know anything about that world reacts to something. Love videos where an indigenous person eats Snickers for the first time. Love that type of stuff. But then there's the train type videos where people are just latching on to what other people are doing. Sometimes it works. Like I plan on doing a reaction video, a gaming video, when the new Orville fan game comes out by Phoenix. They're going to put out part 2 of their Orville video game. I'm in it, and a bunch of other Orville people, fans of the Orville, are in it that are recognizable. I will be doing a live play of that. But yeah, just regular reaction videos, not my thing. Also, I think they'll eventually die out at some point where no one's interested in them. Man, I had a lot of opinions on reaction videos, Minkin. I'm I'm crazy sometimes. I'm too judgmental sometimes. But sometimes you'll see a reaction video. It's just somebody trying to have fun. They have their mother watching an episode of something. Those are kind of fun to watch sometimes too. People that aren't trying to get you to click on by making an easy video, where it's just somebody's like, hey, this person doesn't know anything about this, and they're old or they're young. I love reaction videos of young people trying to figure out how to work a regular telephone. Those are fun to watch. It has to have some sort of gimmick to be different, to make me want to watch it. And again, I have a lot of opinions on reaction videos, I guess. Check out SNL Grouch. So that's Saturday Night Live Grouch sketch. Grouch. Oscar the Grouch? Because I know they did one of those, and that was funny. I almost watch everything. If SNL's done it, I've probably seen it. I just watched the latest episode of SNL this morning when I woke up. It was alright. I had a couple of really good things. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for stopping by. It's good to see you. I'm going to be ending this show here in just a minute. 2 hours. This is the longest show I've done in a while. I usually try to keep it down to 1 hour. But man, I've just had a lot to talk about today. A lot of stuff on my mind. And now that we're pretty much opened up to really talk about anything right off the bat, I love hearing what you guys have been going through, what you've been watching, what you've been thinking. I love being asked questions. Just like with Jeopardy. Now, if you guys give me the answers, I can answer in the form of a question. I'm pretty decent at that. Just saw the new Mandalorian trailer. People like Star Wars. I have to decide when I plan on watching The Mandalorian. I love The Mandalorian. But again, it didn't leave me like hungry for more. Because there's too much stuff, like I said. There shouldn't even be any Star Wars right now. It shouldn't even be Star Trek. There should just be the Orville. The Orville's new. There should only be new things right now, not old things being remade, right? But they do make some good stuff sometimes. Mandalorian is one of those things I really liked. Totally planning on watching season 3. I just don't know when. I do plan on watching Picard season 3 right away. I'll watch the episodes the first day or the second day they're available. And we'll talk about them. Either I'll do a first impression or we'll definitely talk about it during the live show. I just won't make any official hardcore shows because I do not cater to Star Trek fans, even though I'm a huge Star Trek fan. They need to get their house in order before I cater to that. But we can still talk about Star Trek because we're all cool. We're all cool people with our houses in order and level heads, right? I like to review of Making History. Oh man, I remember that, and thanks to you, I was introduced to that, Brian. John Burns, were we talking about David Harbour plays Grouch? Boom, it all comes together. David Harbour, he did that Grouch sketch towards last season, I believe, if I recall. I could be wrong. I don't believe in time, so something that happened yesterday could have been 10 years ago. I don't know. Sometimes it feels that way. I really like David Harbour. I don't know why. I think maybe he reminds me of my dad. When I think back of my dad, I think David Harbour maybe looks a little bit like my dad looked, or has certain qualities. I do know David Harbour deals with manic depression. My dad very much dealt with manic depression. He was a guinea pig for the doctors. Mencken says, you might like Dr. Becky, a proper space nerd astrophysicist. She has done some movie breakdowns amongst her stuff. I do, yeah, that's a good recommendation. I like it when professional people that have that know a lot about a certain thing react to something that has to do a little bit with that thing that they're an expert on. Love that stuff. Not enough people listen to experts. Like I love it when vocal coaches review Pantera. That stuff is interesting to me. They always have very informative things to say. I guess I'm a person who likes good information. I guess that's it. Yeah, I did that making history review. I think it was just one video reviewing kind of the whole thing and introducing it to people and hoping people watched it. Making History was a Fox show. It came on the year before the Orville premiered. Very much has some of the same sensibilities as early Orville. Time travel show. It's almost like a time travel show starring Gordon Malloy, even though Scott Grimes isn't in it. But the main character has a lot of those same sensibilities as the early Gordon Malloy character. Time travel, making fun of the different times, like having fun in the different times. Highly recommend it. They only did one season on Fox, 2016, I guess it would be. Medallion says it's been interesting to hear actual professionals in their field react to sci-fi shows. Yeah, I am more likely to click on something when it involves professionals talking about fun stuff, telling you what they think of if that's possible in that sci-fi show. Is it not possible? Very interesting. Archmage Frey says, JP, you intelligent bastard. All right, you guys, I've had a lot of fun today. I did not expect to have this much fun today. We're going to have to do it a lot more often throughout the weeks to see what happens. So you guys need to go out, live your lives, experience something, and then when I go live, come over here and report what happened to you. What did you watch? What did you experience? Who's your favorite chipmunk of Alvin and the Chipmunks? These are all things we need to dive into, figure out, and have a great time talking about it. Taking back fandom to be something where we take something we like and share it with everyone else. Lift it up, support it, wish it the best of luck. Have hope for it. Wish them the best. And people that like a thing, we're just gonna let them like it. Let them talk about it. We won't call them a-holes, though we are going to talk a lot about holes on this channel for the next couple of years. I'll see you guys very soon. Yeah, go collect those experiences. Thank you for your support. It's very much needed, very much appreciated. And we're going to keep trying to figure out what this Egotastic FunTime thing is. And we're going to keep evolving. Fandom evolved and continuing to evolve to whatever end, you guys. I'll see you guys very soon. And as always, I hope all your times are Egotastic FunTime.